The Funky 50s and the Swingin' 60s by Tyler Fryock and Brian Clarkson.
Welcome to the Funky 50s and the Swingin' 60s. I'm your host, Tyler.
And I'm your other host, Brian.
Today we will be discussing American domestic culture.
Our first topic will be suburbs.
Here's a short clip submitted by 50 Cent 482 about said topic.
It's over 9,000! Over 9,000! Over 9,000! 9,000!
That was definitely not the right video. We're going to try to get the right one this time. Let's go.
Most Americans worked in cities, but because of suburbs, fewer and fewer of them lived there. New highways and the affordability of cars and gas made commuting possible. By the early 1960s, almost every large city in the U.S. was surrounded by suburbs. Suburbs were large areas found outside of cities that contained houses that all looked similar to each other. These were known as cookie-cutter houses. For many people, the suburbs embodied the American dream of an affordable single-family house, good schools, a safe, healthy environment for children, and a congressional neighbors just like themselves.
Thank you, Brian, for that very informative video. Our next topic is the baby boom.
We will now be interviewing a woman born in the baby boom era.
Brian's mom.
Yes, my mom.
Hi, I'm Karen Finucane Clarkson, and I was born at the tail end of the baby boom era.
Hi, Mom. What was life like back then in the baby boom era compared to today's society?
I think life was a little more simplistic. And that's partly because of the media, I believe. News programs were in their infancy, and really news was the way we got information outside of the paper. There was no internet, even telephones we didn't use all that often. And so word didn't travel as quickly, and when there was bad news, it didn't travel as quickly. Things were a little safer back then as well. Maybe that was just a perception, but the fact of the matter was, I grew up on Long Island, and at the age of 10 or 11 was able to take the train into Manhattan with just a friend. It was not at all unusual to see people riding the subway in Manhattan who were under the age of 12. You don't see that much today. People are much more concerned for personal safety. So there was definitely more of a nonchalant attitude, a freer kind of world than we have today.
Okay, so what were some of the recreational activities that you guys did for fun?
Well, in some ways they don't differ so much from today. Bike riding, swimming, in the summertime we'd hit the beach. It was pretty similar. I think the biggest difference is the freedom that we had to pursue such activities. I might leave the house at 8 or 9 in the morning on my bike, and I didn't have a cell phone, so the next time I might check in with my parents was 2 or 3 in the afternoon when the hunger pains really started showing up. The activities themselves, not so different. We went to the movies. The things we didn't do were YouTube, Facebook, other things that are done today.
Okay, so I know you guys had TV back then, so what were the kind of popular TV shows or movies that you would watch?
Well, we did have TV, except that the first TV we had in my house was a black and white TV. And we had that for many, many years before we moved on to color. I remember looking at the NBC Peacock, which was supposed to be in living color, for those few families that actually had a color TV set, and mine was in grayscale. But there were some really great TV shows. There were the cartoons. There were the Hanna-Barbera cartoons that we loved. We loved Bugs Bunny. He was always one of our favorites. Some of the other things we liked to watch, I can remember watching Howdy Doody, Father Knows Best, I Love Lucy. I was a big I Love Lucy fan. And then sort of a groundbreaking show was All in the Family. And that turned TV on its head and really started a whole new generation of television shows. And you can even see today its legacy.
Okay, well, thank you for your time. I guess I'll see you later. Speaking of TV and movies,
our next segment will be some reenactments of old 50s and 60s movies and cartoons.
Where'd Beaver go? I'm not sure. Hey, wait, isn't that him up there?
Hello!
Beaver, why did you go up there?
I like to climb trees.
Beaver, this is your mom and dad speaking. Calm down now.
No!
Beaver, now!
Okay.
Time warp!
Whoa, we're in 2009!
What?
Hey, look at that man. Didn't he used to work in our barber shop? Yeah, Mom, that is him.
He's the one who cuts my hair!
Oh, wow, it seems to be that he is president. Golly, I never thought I'd see the day where a black man would be president.
Well, fiddlesticks, Daddy! What is that?
Wow, that looks like a woman lawyer. I never thought I'd see the day. Well, 2009 seems like a great place to be, but I'd rather be home.
Time warp.
Well, holy cow! Was that an adventure? And now for Looney Tunes!
It's Wabbit season.
It's duck season.
It's wabbit season.
It's duck season.
Rabbit season.
Duck season.
Rabbit season.
Duck season.
Rabbit season.
Rabbit season.
Duck season.
Okay, have it your way. It's duck season.
This has been brought to you by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola.
Thank you, Beaver. Now for our next and final topic, music.
Tyler reports.
Welcome. This is my video about music. In the 1950s and 1960s, rock and roll was born. This genre of music was aimed at both whites and blacks. Many popular artists were Richard Penniman, Chuck Berry, Bill Haley and the Comets. But the king of rock and roll was Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley had many hit songs and had millions of fans. At many of his shows, girls would scream and faint, and boys would try to impersonate him. As Elvis performed, he would make inappropriate pelvic gestures. For all of the above reasons, and many more, adults condemned rock and roll as something that would provoke teenage delinquency and immorality. Many cities began to ban rock and roll concerts. Despite this, rock and roll became one of the most popular genres in music. Thank you myself.
And thank you for watching the Funky 50s and the Swingin' 60s. I'm your host, Brian.
And I'm your host, Tyler. And we're out.
This has been brought to you by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola.